Good morning everybody, this is David. We are off on a road trip. We are going to the Orkney Islands, just off the northern tip of Scotland. This is a round trip of about 1,200 miles. We're going to turn this into a bit of a holiday. It'll take us a couple of days to get up there. We'll go from West Yorkshire, where I'm speaking to you from now, and we will stop off at Dundee. It's about 300 miles. We'll then go from Dundee to Helmsdale via Inverness. That's about another 150. We'll then catch the ferry the following morning over to Orkney, and we'll spend a couple of days at the West End Hotel there. Now, the EV event proper starts on the Saturday. There will be EV users like myself there. There will be a representation from Tesla. So I understand. I don't know if any other manufacturers are represented. I don't know. Jonathan Porterfield will be displaying some of his cars, and we'll be invited to drive those around the car park, so I understand. And on the Sunday, we'll come back to the mainland and spend that evening at Inverness. It's a city I like very much indeed, and I look forward to exploring that. The following day we will travel the 250 miles from Inverness to Gretna Green via the Grampian National Park. That's a long trip even for my 90D, so we may have to stop off at Abington for a quick splash and dash. We will then return home to West Yorkshire via Borough Bridge across the A66 and A1, as I'm doing a bit of business down there. I'll make a few videos on the way up and the way down and make a compilation. See how you like them. Thanks. We've now turned off the A1 at Scotch Corner, and we're proceeding up the A66 Transpennine route, coming up to an area known as Bowes Moor. If you do need to turn off this road, it's a good tip to go to Barnard Castle, which is a lovely little market town, but it has a spectacular Bowes Museum, which was established by a local benefactor and have all sorts of things inside it, including the magnificent automaton swan, which has to be seen to be believed. Anyway, back to the road. This has to be my favourite road in the whole of England, and I hope you can see why. It's fast, the scenery is beautiful, it changes direction, got beautiful curves in it, and the elevation changes are spectacular as well. I always love this. I've had this Tesla now for about 14-15 months, and I will often come up here from West Yorkshire to do business either at Penrith or Carlisle or at Spatria, and I always come up this part of the country primarily because it's only a mile or two longer and you get to drive on this superb road. Now, it's not all dual carriageway. There must be at least 20% which is single carriageway, but that does give you an opportunity just to relax a bit at 50 miles an hour before you come to another fast dual carriageway section. Don't be fooled though, because this road looks absolutely beautiful now, but I can tell you from personal experience in the winter when it snows, although you may be able to get through, the hills are just full up with jackknife lorries, and on a couple of occasions over the last 3 or 4 years I've been turned back and had to take the long way round via the M6 and the M62 and back up the A1, but hopefully we won't have any of that today. This road used to be one of the most dangerous in the United Kingdom before they jewelled it up, and you can probably see why. People would drive way too fast and they couldn't see too far, so it was just the recipe for accidents. We will shortly be approaching the end of the A66, this particular Transpennine section, as it joins the M6 at Penrith, and we will be looking to go to the service area at Rheged, which I'll show you next. Here we are now, we're just approaching the service area at Rheged. We're still on the A66, within about half a mile of the junction with the M6. Now, this is not a typical motorway service area. It doesn't have WH Smiths and Greggs and Costa and all the normal suspects, but it is worth going to. You turn in and the first thing you see is a rather disappointing ubiquitous Shell petrol station, but don't be fooled. Just keep on the road, leave that to your left and go underneath this bridge here. I discovered this nearly a year ago when I needed to charge up, and I could see it on the Zap map, so I pulled in. And the amusing thing about this is that the service area is sort of buried into the hillside, like a sort of subterranean cavern, which is unique amongst motorway service areas as far as I know. Anyway, you'll see in a second the two eco-tricity chargers here. I've never ever had any problems with these two. They work with the app very, very nicely. Obviously we don't need to charge up here because we'll be charging up at Gretna Green in a minute. Now we've got a kiddies play fort on the left there, and the entrance is just down by the grey blocks. You can just see the archway. Here we are, just going in proper. I'm not sure what the camera's going to make of this this light. It'll be quite a test for the G7X Mark II. And we're just coming into the main concourse area. And on the left-hand side, you've got a very nice camping shop. And on the right-hand side, we've got a nice delicatessen with a coffee shop where you can buy breads and all sorts of things like that. Now, there's an escalator to take you upstairs, or indeed a walkway. But this is a close-up view of the shop, and you can see all the specialist sauces and jams and everything else. And coming over there, the deli, and of course the coffee and cakes, which we all tend to have when we stop at these places. When you go up the stairs, you come to a very nice shop selling woolen goods, blankets, Harris tweed jackets. But this particular one I rather like because, as you can see, we've got some very nice photographs of lakeland scenes and mountains and all sorts of things like that. And I was actually quite taken with that. But there's lots to do here and lots to walk around and see. Anyway, we'd better get back on the road. We've left Penrith behind and we passed Carlisle and we're well into Scotland on the M74. The scenery is quite spectacular, made more so by the fact that it's a really, really nice day. It's now a bit of a long run into Glasgow, and then we've got the trawl round the M73, the M80, before we get out on the 90 to Dundee. Here we are at the first roundabout on the A90 coming into Dundee, and we're looking for the Tesla superchargers located at the Doubletree Hotel Motel. My map tells me it's just on the left here, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. I've not been here before, but this represents the northern limit to the supercharger system at the present time, although we are promised an extension to Inverness by the end of 2017 apparently. Right, here we are, the Doubletree Hotel, so let's keep our eyes peeled for the superchargers. We're not actually staying here tonight because I couldn't get a decent price on the hotel, but I have to say it looks rather good anyway. However, we are about 1,000 yards away at the Premier Inn just up the road, so there shouldn't really be any problem. Can't see any signs of the superchargers yet, so just stick with it for a few minutes. Looks like something on the left hand side with a bit of luck. Yes, here we go. No, that's absolutely fine. Well, it's turning into a very splendid evening. We are a little bit tired, so my plan is that I'll just park up, charge the car up, and then go back to the hotel, and Mary and I'll have a nice meal and turn in a bit early. I have enjoyed the drive, or I'm quite frankly a bit tired, but we'll see how it goes anyway. I've had the car connected up for about 5 minutes now, and as you can hear, the cooling fans are on full pelt and we're putting in quite a lot of charge. I'm only getting about 94 kilowatts, which is the maximum I ever get. I've heard of some people getting over 100, but I haven't managed. Anyway, as soon as it's finished, we'll move the car to the Premier Inn and go and have something to eat. There we are, sunrise in a car park in Dundee. It was very frosty this morning. Had to scrape the ice off the car. We're just getting loaded up to get away early today. It looks as though it's going to be a really, really nice day. It is a bit chilly, but once we get going, we're going to Helmsdale, north of Inverness today. This is where we've been staying, the Premier Inn. It should be great. We're on the road now, we're on the A90 and we're heading out of Dundee going towards the Highlands. It's a very clear, cool, crisp morning and it's absolutely excellent. The road surface is great, you can hardly hear anything. It's a joy to have an electric car. Unfortunately, because we left so early, we didn't get a chance to have any breakfast, so Mary and I have agreed that perhaps we'll stop off in Aviemore, which is in the Grampian National Park, and pick ourselves up a bit of breakfast. Here we are in Aviemore, and as you can see, I've just hooked the car up for a quick charge on the Chadamo. Mary's getting the breakfast ordered, so I thought we might as well put on a charge while we can. This is located in the car park next to the railway station, and as soon as we've charged, we'll be off. Well, we've just left Aviemore, and as you can see, we're well into the Cairngorms National Park. This area is predominantly known for its winter sports events, and even in early May you can see there's a bit of snow clinging to the slopes on the left hand side. The road is quite deserted at the moment, probably because it's quite early, but once the traffic builds up this road can be a bit slow. Although I think you'll agree, because the weather's so nice, it's a case of sit back and enjoy the ride, which we'll do until we come into Inverness. We're just coming down the A9 into Inverness, and shortly we'll be going over the Keswick Bridge over the Bewley Firth to get into the Northern Highlands. Interestingly, if you want to go west, you're forced to take the A96 through the city centre, because there's no other crossing north of Fort Augustus. However, the Scottish Government is spending an awful lot of money making a southern bypass and a new bridge. We won't stop at Inverness on the way up, but hopefully we will on the way back. But we will go through the city so that we can check out the Bunchrew Hotel, which had 3 Tesla destination charges, and that should have a good view up the estuary across the Bewley Firth to the new Keswick Bridge. This is the Bunchrew House Hotel, which is located about 10 miles to the southwest of Inverness on the Bewley Firth, and it has a splendid view of the Keswick Bridge that we'll have to cross as we go into the Northern Highlands. The lady here showed us inside, and it's perfectly magnificent. I can thoroughly recommend it. It also has 3 Tesla destination charges. However, on the day of our visit it was extremely windy, and I had to turn the sound off, otherwise you couldn't hear anything. Following a quite unremarkable night at Helmsday, we're now just travelling on the A9 to the ferry at Gills Bay, which we're going to get on board around about 12 o'clock. Yesterday, after parking up, we looked around to find the rapid charger, and when we approached we saw a facelift white Tesla Model S charging up and a couple having their fish and chips just below by the river. We approached to have a chat and found out it was James and Kate, and we had a very agreeable time chatting to them about life, electric cars and everything else, and that really made our day down there. They are going on to pick up their friends Chris and Julie, and they'll be coming over I think tomorrow on the ferry, and we hope to see them with the main Tesla event. Just turning in to go down the ramp onto the ferry, and it's quite steep because the tide is out, and I'm just thinking at this point I'm hoping we're not going to ground the front skirt on this, so I'm going really slowly and listening for the graunching noises, which fortunately don't happen. Now what happens here is, because we're one of the first on, we go to the left, we've got to unload the passengers, and you'll see why a bit later on, because they pack the cars in like sardines. So I'm stopping here to let Mary out. Things are getting a bit tight. There's only about 100 millimetres between me and the right hand steel support, but the ferrymen seem to know the business, so all was well in the end. Well, here we are on the back of the boat, and you can see my bronze Model S there and how close it is to that stanchion. The Tesla boys were just loading on the Model X, and one of the chaps came up to me and reminded me to switch off the alarm and the tilt sensor, otherwise the alarm would have been going off all the way over. So thanks for that, lads, because I would have forgotten, to be honest. Many thanks.